Hey y'all, welcome to the Filling Station. It's a new day, another opportunity to either make money in this market or to just learn from the market. But first, y'all, let me give my disclaimer. I am not a financial advisor. I just enjoy teaching people how to build generational wealth. And yes, the stock market is just one of those avenues. So this video is for educational purposes only. But if you could please like, share, comment, subscribe, y'all. We learn and we grow together. With that being said, let's get started. So we are looking at the SPY, and as you can see, we closed at $600.15. We've had a pre-market high thus far, 606.69. And I always say where the trouble places. For some reason, price has been gathering here in this area here. So trouble places back to the upside. We could possibly have trouble. Let's say if we get back above the 5 EMA here, 604.81, we could possibly have trouble again, 605.37. Should we break that area, we could possibly have trouble again, 605.65, breaking that, 606.01, 606.20, 606.54, breaking that, 606.80, and again 607. Should we break that 607.27 could be a rejection area for us, and breaking that level 607.52 and 607.91. Again, I look at support and resistance on a smaller scale. Why? Because when I'm in the trade, I kind of want to know where those possible trouble places could be, right? So back to the downside, let's say we lose this area of support, which will be our 20 EMA as of now, really close to a level that I have marked 604.32. Breaking that, something stopped us here in this level, 604.20. Should we break that, we could possibly come back to 603.93. However, something did stop us at 604.03. So 604.03 or 603.93 could be a support place for the SPY. Should we break that level, 603.57, breaking that 603.26, and again 602.98. You'll see I have the ATR trailing stop, which is right where we have a level mark here at 602.86. So if we break this level here, the 602.88 or 602.86 area, we could very well come back to 602.49, and again down here at 602.19. Breaking that brings us close to this 50 EMA around the 601.94. So if the SPY is something that you trade today, y'all know I say it so often, trade carefully. Why? Because in this market, anything is possible. And I do apologize that normally my SPY charts and Tesla charts are very congested because I've been charting them for a few years now. Again, I kind of want to know where my possible trouble places could be, right? So we are now looking at Tesla. We closed at 348.68. We made a pre-market high thus far of 359.03, and as you can see, y'all, price stopped at an area we kind of knew we could possibly have trouble. That's why it is so important that we mark those support and resistance areas. Now, what are the trouble places for Tesla, right? Seems like price is holding here at this 355.83. That's where our 20 EMA is as of now, and a line that we have marked. I like to see those, right? So back to the upside, we would need to get back above this level, 356.92. Should we break that level, we could possibly have trouble 357.51, 358.10, 358.48, and if we break that level 359.10, which is kind of close to this area that we just got rejected at here. However, if we break this 359.10, we could possibly come up to around 359.63, 360.01, 360.64, 360.98, and again 361.69. I say so often, y'all, Tesla does what Tesla does, so anything is possible with Tesla. So if we should break this 361.69, we could very well come back on to this area 362.79 and possibly have trouble. Now let's look to the downside. Say for instance, by chance we break under 355.38, we could very well come back to 354.55, 353.44, breaking that level. There's another area here, 353.02. Should we break that, 351.88, and y'all see the ATR trailing stop, which is here, in my opinion, going to be a strong support area for Tesla around the 351.32. Should we break that level, 350.61, and again 350.02. Should we break that 350.02, there's a 50 EMA and a level here, so I would definitely watch that. Again, not financial advice. Breaking that, we could possibly find support 349.37, and breaking that level 348.75, 347.78. So if you're trading Tesla today, those are possible areas to the upside and to the downside, y'all. In this market, anything is possible, right? So we are now looking at Meta. We closed at 398.53. We had a pre-market high thus far of 708.50, and I need to mark a level here. Why? Because it kind of fills in the space that I didn't have marked. So I need to do that for Meta. That 708.27 area here, price kept us here for a reason, or got rejected here for a reason. So where are the trouble places for Meta? Back to the upside, breaking this 705.50, 706.48, again here at the 708.27. Keep in mind we can get stopped out anywhere in between this level up to the next level of 711.27. so from the 708.27 to the 711.27, we could very well get stopped out for Meta, and it very well keep on, let's say that. So now back to the downside. It looks like it's been moving to the upside. It's breaking this level. I would say the ATR trail and stuff. As of now, the 703.51, it's holding us up, but if we should break the ATR trail and stop, which is around 702.15, we could very well continue back to the downside. $700.99 could be a support place for us, and $699.98. We can use that 50 EMA as a support area, but as you can see, there's a few layers of support here. I would say down to the 698.27. Should we break that level, we could very well come back to, well, something stopped us. I need to fill in this space here. Around that 696.81, price gathered in this area for a reason here, so I need to remember that. Now back to the downside, under the 696.81, we can come back to around 695.25, and breaking that kind of brings us back to the 200 EMA as of now, 694.77, but you see it's really close to 694.21, so that is our support area. Breaking that kind of brings us back to around, let's see, 693.36, again 692.34, breaking that 690.80, and should we break that level somewhere around the 688.16, keep in mind we can get stopped out anywhere in between this. So if Meta is something that you trade, I say trade carefully, y'all. And we're now looking at AMD. We closed at 129.58, and as you can see, we have made a pre-market high of the 133.80 thus far. Now to the upside, should we break this level, we could very well have trouble again. 134.15, breaking that. The next level I have marked is around the 135.54. Keep in mind we could very well get stopped out anywhere in between that. So I say trade carefully. Should we break this level 135.54, we could very well have trouble somewhere around the 136.58, breaking that 137.28. And should we break the 137.28 area, I have 137.70, and breaking that level, 138.14, 138.60, 139.11. Those are possible rejection areas for AMD as of now. Now back to the downside, should we break under this level of 132.97, which puts us under the 5 EMA, we could very well, find support somewhere around 132.60, not far away. See, price has been gathered in this area here. So that is now where our 20 EMA is. I like to see that, y'all. So 132.60, should we break that? 132.08, breaking that. 131.85 is where the ATR trailing stop is forming as of now. That's going to be a strong support area in my opinion. And as you can see, price kind of held us in this area. So I would definitely watch, again, not financial advice, the 130-185 area. Breaking that brings us back to around 131.14, but that is where the 50 EMA is at 131.58 in between that. So we could very well find support from this area, and this area. So definitely need to watch that for AMD. 131.14. Should we break that level, 130.64, breaking that brings us back to around 129.72. Just keep in mind we could very well get stopped out anywhere, I would say around the 130.05. Why? Because price was in this area here. If we look where the wicks are here, price stopped in this area for a reason. So I definitely need to remember that 129.98, breaking that for AMD, 129.72, 129.24, and again 128.61. Breaking that brings us kind of like where that 200 EMA is at 128.41, and should we break that 128.01, breaking that level brings us back to around 127.37. So if AMD is something that you trade today. Y'all know I say trade carefully in this market. Anything is possible. We are now looking at NVDA. We closed at 144.17. We've had a pre-market high 146.37. Y'all see, not far from an area that we knew we possibly could have trouble, right? So something stopped us at this. I need to remember that. Now back to the upside. I always say where the trouble places. You see price was gathering in this area here. It's back in this zone again. So as of now, let's say this could be our support 145.39, and the resistance is the 5 EMA 145.54. Now breaking that to the upside, we could possibly have trouble again 145.69, 145.80, 145.96, 146.18. Breaking that, there's a few layers here, so I'm going to just say the 146.36, breaking that 146.49, and should we break that level for NVIDIA, 146.89, breaking that 147.34. Keep in mind we can get stopped out anywhere in between here as here. So breaking the 147.34. The next level I have is 148.10. However, we could very well get stopped out anywhere in this area here. So I say trade carefully. Breaking that 148.10 area, we could possibly have trouble again, 148.69. And if we break that 148.69 for NVIDIA, the next level, 149.42, we could very well have trouble in that area. Now, those are rejection areas or your resistance areas. Now, back to the downside, let's say under 145.39, we could very well come back to this level. Y'all see price has been at this line here, 145.24. We've hit that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times at least. So breaking this 145.24 for NVIDIA, we can come back to 145.02. You see, that is where our 50 EMA is and a level that we have marked. I love to see this. Breaking this level brings us back to around the ATR trailing stop 144.80. Should we break that level 144.65, and breaking that brings us back to, I would say, around this level 144.41. And why I'm marking that is because that's where this high is and the body of these two candles are. So something stopped us in this area, so I kind of like need to be watching that area again back to the downside. So that 144.42, breaking that brings us back to 144.28. Should we break that level 144.17, and breaking that brings us back to around the 143.95. Something held us up here before, so around the 143.95-96 area. Should we break that for NVIDIA, 143.77, and should we break that area, we could very well find support 143.57, which is around this level here. Should we break that, 143.32, 143.16, 142.90, and breaking that brings us back to around 142.42. So these are possible areas of support and resistance. I need to move that. Support and resistance for NVIDIA. Again, not financial advice. We did have a few inside day candles. I think Rivian is one of those. So let's just give the trigger to that. I like to give, like, if it breaks beyond this area, this is our possible target. That's why I like to look at inside day candles, and it kind of helps build a watch list for us. So if Rivian, RIVN, should break above the 1394, we've hit the 1399 pre-market. We had an upside target today for 1404. Now back to the downside, under 1343, we could have a downside target of 1338. Keep in mind, it is trading sideways or in this zone here. I'm going to mark that. Price is just trading in this area here, so it could really go in either direction. You don't want to trade this. You want to wait until it gives you a signal, or and wait on confirmation to see that whatever direction it chooses. So y'all, this is what I see when I look at the market. I say so often, there's so many different ways to trade the market, and what's challenging is trying to figure out a strategy that works best for you, and for you to have the discipline to execute your plan. Make sure you set your stop losses, or whatever it is that you choose to use. Make sure you're able to get in at the right time and out at the right time. Y'all, I hope that everyone have a very profitable and a very, very productive day today. But if you can, again, please like, share, comment, subscribe. Y'all, we learn and we grow together. So until next time, be blessed as well as a blessing unto others.